Flags were waving all around the streets of London, some bearing St. George's Cross, while others displayed the United Kingdom flag. Among the crowd, people held placards reading, "Stop the boats, send them home, and save our children." These slogans clearly indicated that the crowd had gathered not for a common cause, but to protest against migrants and refugees. The police had anticipated that people would gather, but they did not expect such a massive crowd. More than 100,000 people were marching on the capital streets, and when the police tried to control the situation, clashes erupted. 24 people were arrested and 26 police officers were injured. The entire protest was named the Unite the Kingdom Rally. The face of this rally became a person who had continuously been the center of controversy in British politics and media: Tommy Robinson. His real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. Once, he was the owner of a small tanning salon in the town of Luton. But over time, he became a symbol of Britain's far-right politics. In 2009, he founded the English Defence League, which gained attention for violent protests against extremism. Since then, Robinson has been jailed several times for hate speech or contempt of court. Recently, he falsely accused a Syrian refugee, and the court ordered him to refrain from repeating these accusations. But Robinson continued to repeat them, leading to another prison sentence. Upon his release, he announced that he would rally in support of free speech. This rally appeared on the streets of London that Saturday. The scale of the rally was massive, and the presence of international figures made it even more sensational. The world's most famous entrepreneur, Elon Musk, sent a video message directly calling for a regime change in Britain. Meanwhile, France's far-right leader, Eric Zemmour, spoke, saying, and I quote, "We are all victims of the same process. Our European societies are being changed by people coming from the South and Islamic culture. We are becoming strangers in our own countries, and our former colonies are taking over." Zemmour's words seemed to give voice to the anger and fear of the people attending the rally. The atmosphere of the rally suddenly shifted from a local British issue to a larger European political discourse. However, this story is not just about one rally. There is a deeper economic and social backdrop behind it. The UK is currently experiencing an economic crisis. Inflation, unemployment, and a shortage of resources have made life difficult for ordinary citizens. When pockets are empty and job security is uncertain, a sense of insecurity begins to grow. In such an environment, the migrant community becomes an easy scapegoat. In recent months, there have been several protests across Britain regarding refugees. The government decided to temporarily house them in hotels because it was more difficult to provide them with work in the country's weakened economy. However, the public felt that these refugees were consuming taxpayers' money, living for free, and contributing to an increase in crime. In July, a refugee residing in a hotel in Essex was accused of sexual assault. Though he denied the allegations, the media and social media amplified the incident so much that it became a major cause for public anger against migrants across Britain. This anger was exploited by leaders like Tommy Robinson, who made him the face of the movement. His popularity on social media was already increasing, especially since people like Elon Musk and American strategist Steve Bannon had come out in support of him. Robinson was no longer just a British leader. He had become a part of an international far-right network. During the rally, two entirely different pictures were visible on the streets of Britain. On one side were people demanding the removal of migrants, the closing of borders, and the saving of children. On the other side, 5,000 people participated in a counter-rally in support of migrants and minorities. They argued that this was a movement of hate and that the real threat to Britain's democratic values came from the protesters, not the migrants. This clash highlighted the deep divisions within Britain's soul. On one side, multiculturalism and democracy, and on the other, fear, insecurity, and identity politics. This event in London showed the world how economic crisis and social insecurity can push society towards extreme ideologies. When people feel that their resources are limited and their culture is under threat, they rally behind leaders who offer easy solutions, such as deport the migrants, close the borders. But the real question is much deeper. Britain's challenge is not just how many refugees have entered the country, but whether its society can bear this tension. While the name of the Unite the Kingdom rally suggests unity, the reality is that this rally exposed Britain's deep fractures. One fracture is between those who believe that diversity and migration are Britain's strength and those who feel that this very diversity is erasing their identity and existence. This divide is not just confined to the streets of London. It is visible in every part of Britain's politics, media, and society. In the end, the question remains whether Britain can bridge this divide, or will such rallies only serve to divide the country further? This story is not just about migrants or one leader. It is about the insecurity and anger that can tear any society apart from within. The Saturday afternoon in London taught the world a lesson that when people are trapped in economic and social crises, their voices often turn into slogans of anger and fear. And these slogans don't just echo on the streets, they shake the very soul of democracy. Viewers, we end the discussion here and note today's question. How do economic and social insecurity push society towards extreme ideologies? Explain in the context of Britain.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.